Hey, what's up guys, my name is Anshul and today in this video, let us briefly talk about the latest and the greatest MacBooks that will be available in the Q1 of the year 2025, and I'm talking about the M4 MacBooks that will be the latest and the greatest. Now I wanted to make this video because I was personally looking for an upgrade to the latest and the greatest, but I just did not want to spend a lot of money on something like the M4 Pro MacBooks, the 16 inches or the 14 inches one. Currently what I have in my studio is the M1 Pro MacBook in 16 inches, and I just paid about 3,800 Canadian dollars 3 years back on this laptop, and I do not think so that it is worth spending a lot of money on these latest MacBooks, because already we know that the latest and the greatest that we have from the MacBooks, the M lineup is already very good, and we also know that even though that if we do not get something like the M4 Pro MacBook in the latest and the greatest that we have in the market, and we just stick with something like the M4 MacBook, it would still be a very good competitor to what I already have in my studio. So let us see that what I think of that what a perfect MacBook Air would be for the year 2025, and the things that I just want Apple to upgrade on these devices. Now the number one thing that I wanted to be upgraded on these new MacBooks is really the inches of the display that we are getting on these MacBooks. Now we already have a 13 inches and a 15 inches device, but I wanted MacBooks to be at least the Air MacBooks to be 14 inches to be the minimum, because hey, again, you know, who do not want a bit more of real estate on the device? And I think so a 14 inches display would be a perfect one. Now I know that this is far from what Apple would be delivering in the next year, and we have not seen any kind of leaks saying that there would be a 14 inches MacBook Air, but hey, it is a cool idea, and even if you increase the price by 100 Canadian more dollars, I think so that it would just make a lot of sense. Now the second thing that I want in addition to the larger displays of this MacBook Airs is that I want Apple to include a display with more nits of peak brightness, and that would be something that would be easy for people who are traveling, especially it is a thin and light MacBook, and a lot of people would want to travel with these MacBooks, and a lot of people would be working under the direct sunlight, and I think so it would be just a viable option to have a display with at least I would say 800 nits of peak brightness. That would be just too good. Now the other thing is that I want Apple to include an option for a matte displays on these MacBooks as well, and the price should just not be more than $150 in addition to what you already have on these MacBooks. Again, something that is on my wish list. I would just want this thing not to be as expensive as what we have on the current MacBooks that we have in the Canadian market, and the other option would just be to buy a screen protector. Again, it is something that is not an option for everyone, because it would be difficult to apply these screen protectors on their own, especially if you have not applied one in the past. But again, a $150 option is something that should be just fine with a lot of people. Now the other thing that I want the new MacBooks to have is an option to get the M4 Pro chip. Now this is something that would be controversial, and a lot of people would say, you know, if you just want something like the M4 Pro MacBook, just go with a 14 inches the MacBook Pros. But the thing is that we know that the entry level MacBook, the MacBook Pro is the M4 edition one, and again it is a Pro MacBook with a non-Pro chip on the base model, and that costs about 2,100 Canadian dollars. Now this is something that should not have been a thing from the starting, and Apple should have made a perfect MacBook Air and just never had the option for $2,100 base M4 MacBook. And even though that you're getting an option on the MacBook Air to get something like the M4 Pro MacBook chip inside of these thin and light laptops, the thing is that they are still not the most premium devices, because even though that they might cost about 1,900 or 1,800 Canadian dollars, the thing is that you still do not get the best in the terms of the speaker, you still do not get best in the terms of the thermal performance, you still do not get a quantum display technology on these MacBooks. So yes, already there is a lot of cutoffs that are already there on these MacBooks, the thin and light, the Air MacBooks. But again, the things that are the ones that are essentials should have been included on this latest MacBooks. Now the next thing that I want, even though that Apple do not want to improve in the terms of a better chipset on, again, an addition to what they already have on the base lineup of the MacBook Airs, I think so the thing to do is that just get the thermals right on these MacBooks. Now we already know that these thin and light MacBooks, the Air laptops, they do not have any kind of thermal solution. At least there is no fan in these laptops. Now what I really want is that at least include a single fan inside of this MacBooks, that is a viable solution, or get something that is very similar to what we have got on the PlayStation 5s, and that is a liquid metal to be used for the thermal solution on these devices. I think so what PS5 uses is a gallium compound or something, but again you got the point. The thermals on these laptops are just not the perfect ones, and a lot of people like me who just want to do a lot of video editing on their laptops, I think so having a thermal compound to cool off these laptops is just a perfect solution. And if again Apple says that these are the entry-level MacBooks, then yes, the entry-level MacBooks should not be more than $1,000, and these are already a very expensive piece of devices, and I think so that they just deserves a lot of love on these devices for sure. Now the next thing that is something that is again a deal breaker for me is the inclusion of a single chipset to be able to control the display drivers. Now we know that Apple has got into a solution to be able to connect these MacBooks to two external displays, but again you just need to shut off the display that is already on your MacBook, and again you cannot use just three displays on these MacBooks, and that is something that is again a deal breaker for me. And I just want Apple to include a separate display driver so that it can work just exactly like what other Windows laptop have been able to do from the longest time. And the solution is again not something that might be a very costlier one. It is not very expensive to make a display driver, and again something that I just want Apple to be included on the latest MacBooks. Again, a lot of people would comment, yes, it is not a dual chipset like having the M1 to M1 Pro, having an exact replica of the die to be able to have two display controllers, and having M1 Max to be having four of them, and exactly not something that I want as a solution for Apple. I just want to have a single die with not one but two display controllers, and that would be the perfect situation for a lot of people. Now the other thing that I want Apple to upgrade is the base storage on these MacBooks. Again, the base storage is just 256 GB, and you just do not have any control on to be able to upgrade these memories on this MacBooks. Again, not the best thing in my opinion, and this is exactly what I am suffering from right now. Now the thing is that I'm getting these boot panics on these MacBooks, and this is just because of the RAM on this device is not acting well, or maybe the storage on this device is not acting well. And if I'm able to upgrade the RAM and the storage on myself, I think so that would be the perfect solution, because hey, it is just 3 years of myself using this device, and I can already see that the downgrades of having a single solution for the RAM and the storage to be sorted with alongside of the chipset as a unified memory thing. And again, the solution that I just do not like on this latest MacBooks, and I just want the latest MacBook Airs to be something to be a start of that if these laptops are having the RAM issue or the storage issue, you should just be able to replace, at least even if it is not the third party ones, at least with the official ones at a cheaper cost from Apple. Now again, I think so that this is not a very tough thing, and something that would make up for at least my perfect MacBook that I would just want to have in my day-to-day usage. Now the last thing that I want Apple to upgrade on the latest MacBook Airs is that I want Apple to upgrade the webcam on these laptops. Again, the quality of the webcams on these MacBooks is not the worst one, but I just want Apple to include the features like the center stage feature and the desk view feature. Again, something that is latest for the new MacBooks, but I think so that it just makes a lot of sense to have the center stage feature on this MacBook Airs as well, since we already have this feature in almost every other Apple product of lineup. I think so the latest iPad minis, I think so that they have included that feature as well. If not, just do let me know in the comment sections below. But that was basically all that I want Apple to be included in the latest MacBooks, and that should really make this MacBook as my dream MacBook Air that I have always wanted to have, and that should really just replace my MacBook Pro 16 inches as well. Well, that was all that I wanted to share about in this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.